Baikonur as the main engines lit up on the Soyuz 2.1A booster. The Soyuz lifted off, then arced out to the northeast over the Central Asian desert from the Baikonur Cosmodrome on an 8-minute, 46-second trip to deposit the Soyuz spacecraft and its 3 occupants into its preliminary orbit. The climb to orbit by the 3-stage Soyuz booster was flawless. Everything went by the book, and after the Soyuz separated from the 3rd stage of the Soyuz rocket, it deployed its navigational antennas and solar arrays and the chase with Soyuz commander or rather Space Station Commander Sergey conducting those leak checks on the Rosviet side of the docking interface, and the leak checks being conducted by Soyuz Commander Sergey Kud-Sverchkov on the Soyuz side of the docking interface at the Rosviet module. Those leak checks and pressure checks to equalize pressure across the docking interface are about to come to a close. That will set the stage for the Expedition 73 crew to greet their Soyuz counterparts and to greet them on board in the vestibule, if you will, of the Rosviet module of the International Space Station. Once the hatches are open between the 2 vehicles, the newly arrived trio of Chris Williams, Sergey. Again, we're standing by for the opening of the hatches between the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft and the Rosviet module on board the International Space Station. It was a flawless ride from the launch pad in Baikonur toward the docking at the Rosviet module for NASA's Chris Williams and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergey Kud-Sverchkov, the Soyuz commander, and his board engineer, Sergey Mikaev. Once those hatches are opened, the population of the International Space Station will rise to 10, continuing the permanent human occupancy of the International Space Station that began on November 2nd, 2000, with the arrival on board of the Expedition 1 crew, Bill Shepard, Sergey Krikalev, and Yuri Gitzenko.
Station Moscow, Space Ground 2. For hatch opening or head-on Space Ground 2, how to read me?
This is Mission Control Houston.
Yes,
if you're just joining us, you're looking in the Rosviet module of the International Space Station, where Expedition 73 crew members, led by Station Commander Sergey Rizhikov, right by the hatchway with the head set on, waiting. And we're just moments away from regaining our downlink television capability from the station. Once we do, we'll be on board in the Rosviet module to watch the work being done on the station's side of the docking interface by Sergey Rizhikov, the station commander, as he works to open the station hatch. That'll be followed by the opening of the Soyuz hatch by an occupancy of the International Space Station that began on November 2nd, 2000, with the arrival on board of the Expedition 1 crew, Bill Shepard, Sergey Krikalev, and Yuri Gitzenko.
Station Moscow, Space Ground 2. For hatch opening or head-on Space Ground 2, how to read me?
This is Mission Control Houston. If you're just joining us, you're looking in the Rosviet module of the International Space Station, where Expedition 73 crew members, led by Station Commander Sergey Rizhikov, right by the hatchway with the head set on, waiting. And we're just moments away from regaining our downlink television capability from the station. Once we do, we'll be on board in the Rosviet module to watch the work being done on the station's side of the docking interface by Sergey Rizhikov, the station commander, as he works to open the station hatch. That'll be followed by the opening of the Soyuz hatch by Sergey Kud-Sverchkov. I can assure you they are just completing final procedures before they open the hatch and join their Expedition 73 crewmates. Again, the Soyuz hatch opened at 9:16 a.m. Central Time, 16 a.m. Eastern Time. Standing by for the three
Are we staying on Space to Ground 2?
inside the International Space Station.
Yes, we're still standing by. We are equalizing the pressure.
The International Space Station is currently flying 260 miles above the South Pacific, having begun a southwest to northeasterly track. Equalization of pressure in the small passageway between the Soyuz and the Roscosmos module.
All your achievements, all your efforts paid off. So you managed to be here. And we'll be waiting.
We are just standing by for that hatch right behind Roscosmos to swing open, and for Williams, Kud-Sverchkov, and Mikaev to float on board. As part of Expedition 73, the increments will change from 73 to 74 at the time that the Russian flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow on December 8th are preparing to bring us inside the Roscosmos module at the hatchway to the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft for hatch opening. We should be ready for all of that once we pass a handover in our tracking and data relay satellite system that we will lose the downlink video from the station for. It will only last a couple of minutes.